Us all loaded up and ready to go. So, hello everyone. This is Michelle Baker, and this is the Women of Sales and Influence, sponsored by the National Association of Sales Professionals. Today is Monday, June 17th, and I have with me another fabulous woman, and her name is Susan Ibitz, and she is about human behavior. So she is the Human Behavior Lab. She is going to talk to you about successful women behave badly. If I said that correctly, but she's going to correct me. And Susan, this is where we give you the opportunity to, shine your light. Let people know who you are and what you do.
Well, behave women never make history.
There you go.
Do you know any woman who was a bad, good girl who is in the history book? No. So hello, everybody. I'm Susan Ibitz. I'm a human behavior hacker. Some people hack computers. I hack humans. I've been doing this for 27 years. Oh my God, saying it is painful. Like when I say that, like, okay, wait, 27, like, whoa, I can be a grandmother on my own studies. I can have a grandmother on my diplomas. Anyway, what I do is all the channels, what is known as a behavior. And now I'm adding another one. I'm engaging myself on 24 months certification, who is crazy. My people says, because you don't have anything else to do, now you need to do another one. Like, yes. So I do body language micro expressions. I do physiognomy of face reading. I do statement analysis, forensic analysis. I'm a certified personality type. And I can do a personality type analysis too. So look like I'm all over the place, but it's the only way that you can profile or read someone, because it's not only on the phone, it's in person too.
Yes, and I am checking on social media while we are live. That's why I keep looking down. I love the lights behind you. And Susan, one of the things that initial conversation that we had, and you were really sharing on how this is, everything is moving because we have so much technology, so much artificial intelligence, and there's so much opportunity to engage in being connected to humans, right? It's like technology is connecting to us more than we are.
You know what is crazy? I read every day. We was talking before we go in live that people do not understand how much effort it takes to read faces and be on the top of your game. Sometimes people come and says, oh, can you read the face of my boyfriend in Tinder? And like, do you know how long it took me to grab your phone and read your boyfriend in 5 seconds? It's not a game. You need to really put effort. So I read every morning, and I was reading about artificial intelligence. Do you know what is the only profession they are 100% is going to be impossible to be replaced by artificial intelligence?
And which one is that? No, I have no clue.
Sales.
Who?
You guys, sales.
Sales.
You guys are sales. You guys are in the right profession. You can use artificial intelligence on your benefit. That is not going to replace the fact that a human need to be behind that artificial intelligence. So we can use Skype, we can use the phone number, we can use text, we can use webinars. But the fact that behind that technology, still we need a human, makes sales a huge opportunity to go to.
Yes. Yes, and I wanted to say hello to Barbara Castro. She is watching us. Hey, Barbara. You know Barbara, right?
Yeah, we talked to Barbara.
Yes,
she's in Texas, no? Yeah,
exactly. And I would wholeheartedly agree with you. It's one of those professions where one of the things I love about sales personally is sales is one of the few professions that requires you to become a better person to sell better. Right? You must self-develop. Any top performing sales professional has invested in training, in coaching, in books, in seminars, and blah, 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 right? They have taken time to develop themselves. And that's because the people buy for emotional reasons and they justify with logic. So emotionally, I cannot connect with you if I am not confident, if I am not have certainty in my ability, because I'm too busy being fearful of what you think of me, or I might lose the sale, or, how do I look? Or if they say something that makes me uncomfortable, I don't want to be uncomfortable. So again, You can't adapt that to artificial intelligence because that's an emotion. And that's the one thing artificial intelligence cannot have is emotion.
One thing that I want to clarify is I not teach people how to sell. I teach people how to use human behavior to improve your sales skills, because you can be the best in what you do, but if you don't have soft skills, do you know that a person who has soft skills, meaning empathy, who can read other, mirroring other people's body language, make between $27,000 and $32,000 more a year than somebody who is not able to do it? We're talking about in 20 years, almost more than $500,000 you're going to make extra for knowing soft skills. So what I teach people is, first of all, read yourself. When people says, oh, my clients are always mad with me, can I see your face? Can I see your body mannerism? Can I see how you smile when you're talking with customer on the phone? Like, I'm on the phone, I don't need to smile. Like, you see, I can record you and give any of my team your recording, and they're going to know you're mad. Put a mirror in front of your phone when you're talking with customers, even though nobody's seeing, because if you see you're mad, you can hear the voice is different. The tone of your voice is important, the words you use. But when you're in front of a customer and you start, for example, I use glasses and I always use the same example. And the reason I keep it on is because I do this with my nose. Even though you don't read micro expressions, maybe because they are encoded genetically in your brain, you're going to think that I'm disgusted with you. And what happened is, women, we wear makeup and glasses like you do. We tend to do this with the nose all the time because they're fell, because you have so much makeup, they start falling. So maybe the other person think that I'm disgusted or dislike again that person and give me a bad body report. So I teach people first to handle themselves, how to pose the hands, where to put it, not to put pockets on the hands on the pocket. If you don't see my hands, you see there how accurate it is. You don't know, like I said, oh, I'm gonna explain you 3 micro expression. I told you a huge deal that I have and how much is gonna improve. You don't believe what I'm saying. It says, I have a huge idea to tell you. I'm going to show you 3 micro expression and it's going to be awesome. My body is telling you something that my words are telling too. Even though I do believe you need to pay attention to the words, because people says I decide, or usually, or maybe sometimes, and I doing a huge expression with my body. Pay attention, because usually, sometime, and I decide, meaning that something else is going on.
Yeah, I absolutely love that. I remember hearing someone, and something I say sometimes when I'm talking to people, and I'm like, oh, are you upset? And they're like, no, I'm happy. I was like, well, you should tell your face, right? Right? Because
I do that all the time. Like, I'm sorry, your face is mad with me when you're happy. Can you coordinate between your face, your feeling, and your body? That you're happy to see me. Great.
Exactly. And I don't know where I heard that from someone, and I liked it so much. I started to say that because, again, you can't betray your beliefs. So whatever I believe in that moment, I communicating 55% body language, 38% tone, and 7% words. So 55% of my communication is body language. So when you tell me you're happy and you're not smiling, then there's a disconnect. There's an incongruence in what you just said. And because we are mammals first, and like you said, this micro genetic body language that we have, we're all reading each other. Right. But, and I believe that's one of the biggest challenges is people are not being aligned or congruent with what they're actually telling people. And that causes so much havoc. I love you. How does that sound? Right.
Get your ducks in a row.
Thank you. Right?
When I talk to a client and my client says, no, that's not me. I'm sorry if the truth get on the way of your reality, but your reality have a broken mirror. You look like a mad person all the time. Your people is not coming to you because every time that you have a meeting and says, oh, I'm open to question, come to me, and you pull your body, cross your arms and shrink your shoulders, it's not only one position. You have all the whistles, everything is happening at the same time, even though you want to. The problem is because you are extremely shy, you are good talking, but when people talk to you and they're going to put you on a spot, your body's saying something different. And I want to use the example when you use the 50% and the tone of the voice.
Yes.
When Meridian did the study on the 6971, people still going on sales door to door. Today, the technology, we talk about AI and technology, has changed. So I would say, what was the last time that you encounter a first approach with someone in person or an email or a phone call? It's more normal that today you encounter people with phone calls and emails. So it's important that we start understanding the reading faces and understanding the linguistic of what the people said. Mm-hmm. It's important too. So when we have the chance to encounter the way we are doing or the way you do it in person, because people still buy expensive tickets and pay an hotel to meet with clients, the clients still want it. We need to learn everything, or at least to have an appropriate approach to all the channels to make sure that you can go on the top. Right. So at the time that you have the chance to be in front of people, you can be coherent with that.
Right. And, I love that you just mentioned about how few people that you actually get cold calling you by, the door to door. Actually, co-working space that I work at, Google Fiverr, has a sales team and they meet there for their training like 3 times a week. And the whole sales team, all they do is go out and go door to door. Right. And the guy, I spoke to him who's running this.
That's awesome.
He was brought in from another state because he's been so phenomenal. And he was actually a Mormon. So in his youth, he went and did a lot.
They have a thick skin.
Right.
You know what? Witness and Mormon. Actually, you gave me a really good idea. I should hire one because they know how to deal with the worst.
Everybody watching, go hire Mormons, right?
Wow. I never thought about it.
It's interesting. And one of the things that I have found is picking up the phone. Right. That is actually, you get so caught up into email marketing, into social media, and then you're busy answering emails and putting together presentations and, posting and writing blogs, that the habit of picking up the phone can dissipate really quick. Right. And so I make it a standard that now that every day I must make a certain number of calls. I have a minimum because it is, there's nothing like hearing that voice. And especially when you're prompted, when you hear, and everybody listening, if you're in business and you're a professional, you hear all these things like, oh, I should reach out to that person. And then the next thing, if you haven't conditioned yourself for that behavior, is, oh, they're probably busy. Oh, it's not a good time. Oh, I didn't follow up. So then the next thing to come are the excuses, justifications, and alibis. And so what you're saying is, right, that ability to know and be able to be comfortable in your skin and how you communicate will actually make it easier for you to pick up that phone.
And we need to remember this. People can identify, even on the phone, if you're smiling or you're mad or what you're doing. I can listen to the wheels of your chair moving. I can listen with the clicking. Don't drive you crazy when a person calls you to say something and they're clicking. It's happened to me that people call me or they do podcasts or interviews or they call me to say, oh, I'm really interested to talk to you. And they start clicking on the computer, like, can you tell your fingers to stop because they're distracting me? So if you're interested, multitasking requires 25 seconds between tasks to really be embraced. There are studies who show multitasking doesn't work. Record the conversation, have a pen who's less invasive from the other person, but still practice to have a good sense of humor. And if you don't have a good day, sometimes it's good to take a rain check, go for a power walk, take a shower, listen to some music. Yep. I dance because I'm happy, or I'm happy because I dance. I don't know what is the answer, but in the morning I have an iTunes, then I start dancing and brushing my teeth because I'm not a morning person, so I need to give up a boost. But do it, like, get a good attitude. And yeah, I jump on the phone all the time when people do inquiries to us. I pick up the phone and my assistant says, you know that you're freaking people out. Says, hi, I'm Susan Ibitz. You sent us an inquiry 15 minutes ago. How can I help you? Like, no, you're not Susan Ibitz. You're one of those companies that everybody have the same name. So they make me think I'm talking to you and says, let's do FaceTime. And that's like, whoa, yeah, I'm working with humans. If I don't know who you are and how you are, I need to quit and do something else.
Exactly. This is an interesting conversation because I know as I have moved through the dynamic and work more with my ideal clients and my perfect clients, that connection, that ability to connect with them, to be completely engaged. And it's one of the reasons I use Zoom. Because when I'm on a phone call, I will, like any other, I will squirrel like every other human being, right? And when I'm on, right, squirrel. But when I'm on Zoom like this, and I'm sitting there facing you, you get so much engagement, and it's so much fun to see the people, to really make a connection. And then, you know, and for some of those people, when I get to finally meet them in person, it's just so much richer. With all the technology, I don't even see why, you know, I wouldn't sit on unless it's a quick chat or catch up or follow up to something. But if it's really, I'm doing business with you, I love this format if I'm not in person with you. So yeah, and that's where those micro expressions, as you discussed, are so vitally important.
Yeah, because when I'm gonna say three things that they're myth on body language and in sales. And for many years, people were saying that, and now we have studies to prove it. And I was one of the first person who started saying it, and I bring some enemies to my side when I say it. The funny part is now they say the same. They never quote me. Anyway, one, if a person is watching to the right or looking to the left, doesn't mean they're recalling visual or eyes. It's proven with fMRIs, how you move your eyes has to do with your own pattern and has to do how you manage your information. I'm lefty and I only write with the right hand. So my eyes are always closed. And when I recall information, I close my eyes. So when you see someone moving the eyes to one side to another, do not pay attention, because we have a study. If you don't have a baseline is how you usually do things based on normal pattern of question. What day is today? What is the weather? What you have for lunch? What you have for dinner? What was the last song that you hear? Until you don't do those patterns of baseline, you cannot determine one. Second, when somebody crosses the arms, doesn't mean that it's opposite or close to your decision or your sales approach. You need to have more than one action. If you only crossing the arms, people, when they think, they tend to cross the arms. You need to be careful. Now, if I'm crossing the arms, like I told you, I pull my body and shrug my shoulders. Now we have a pattern of three. But think about it. How many times you need to make a decision and you do this, like, you're right. You're thinking, you're shrinking your eyes, you put your hand in your chin and you cross. I cross my arms to make decisions, like, okay, yeah, that can work. Oh my God, yeah, that's work. And that's when I open. Another thing, if you tend to see somebody who's crossing their arms and you're in person, give them something. So they open the arms and they're not closed. And so, and be careful when people do. Another thing is, says, people who's lying to you is going to tend to not see you in the eyes. So if somebody suddenly have a 60 to 70% of the time looking in your eyes and suddenly change the gaze, and they're looking to you all the time, that is a change of pattern. People who try to deceive you or lie to you, they're going to look at you more often to make sure that you bind the lies they say. So those are three things that people tend to, but you don't always need to be aware. Now you know about it, but the person who is in front of you maybe not. So check your position, check your own body language and your reaction before you go for it.
Okay. Yeah, I like that. And I love that more than anything, that you've disproved some things, because that is one of the biggest challenges with how we treat people is believing that because it's been this way, it's always going to be that way. Because they always ask this way, because they always said it this way, or because someone told me this is the way that person behaves or what they think or how they respond. And everything you're talking about is internal, and really getting clear on how I'm going to communicate, right? So that way I'm a better communicator.
And it's nothing wrong or bad. When Bandler and Erickson came in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, they discovered amazing things. Now we have science to prove that some of those things require another qualifiers in order to be correct. So, and I'm sure there are things that are going to be changing. We was under the impression that micro-expressions are learned by our parents, and David Matsumoto in 2009 from the psychologist San Francisco. He's a great psychologist who is taking micro-expression to the next level, to the academic level, prove that athlete who has been born blind and the ones who have been born sighted, they express body language micro-expression the same way. So we don't learn from our parents if we have been born blind. Actually, people who is blind, because they're not aware people is watching them, they express emotions stronger than people who is sighted. So the only thing we learn from our parents is to lie. Why? When you go into shopping with your mom and you come back home and says, you like this candy? Don't tell your daddy that we went to shopping today. So we don't learn micro expressions and body language or our parents, we learn to lie. So you have a good parents who lie, you're going to be a great liar. So be aware what you do in your house in front of your kids, because that's what is going to happen.
Oh my God, that is so good. Well, I wanted to ask you one more question before we give the audience and the viewers a way to connect with you and for them to experience more of your awesomeness. Just thinking in terms of clients, right? So everybody who's in business, and I won't say everybody because that's a broad stroke. I really try to stay away from every and always, though never. So many people who are in business love to have that roster full of their ideal clients, right? The clients that make your soul sing, right? The clients that, you know, you call and they're like, yes, and they call you and you look at the phone and you're like, oh my God, I can't wait. And that is not something that generally happens at first. We go through learning who we are, what we really do well, and who those clients are. How does understanding micro expression help me move through that and get to those people? And really, how does me understanding my micro expressions, my behavior, and other people's behavior help me to get to that pool of people?
First, the best advice I ever have when I went from private sector to a consultant is choose your clients before you choose your business. In my case, I have a luxury to work with people who believe, maybe doesn't understand what I do. Maybe in the beginning, they don't believe they're open enough to not be aggressive or offensive and says, you know what? I want to know more. And when I know more, I'm going to do my evaluation. I love people who challenge me. And I would say, if you like to be challenged, find clients who challenged you. And I know that most salespeople work with quotas, but if you have a customer who is not your customer, it's going to be bad feedback, returns. And at the end, you made your quota. But if you bring into the company clients who's going to be a pain in the neck, you are going to be as bad as the one who doesn't bring any customer. So be aware of bringing conflicted people to your life. Choose your customer before you choose your business. If I'm going to a meeting with a person and it says like, well, what you do, it's belong to the welfare, and says, thank you very much. I appreciate your comment, but you are not my client and I'm not your consultant. And they get offended like, well, my money is not good enough. It's really good, but it's not the money we want to receive, because we want quality from the customers, because we have quality as a trainers. So based on that is sometimes you need to be strong in how you put the limits. Be aware of your body. Be aware that it's a coherence between what you say, how you say it, and when you say it. If I'm talking, like we was making jokes and my face, my body was in a joke position, but now we're talking about things that people need to do to make sure they're efficient. So as you see, it's a coherent between my hands are not all over the place. If I'm talking to you this way, you see how distracted, doesn't matter how much I'm telling you about the price, you're done, you're gone. So another thing, when you start talking with your client and you give the price, after the price, automatically give the bonus. Don't give the price at the end. Or the price in the beginning. Says, well, I'm going to give you a training. It's going to cost you X amount of money. And we're going to have 4 trainings, 2 days. That's what you're going to learn. And you're going to have practice for 8 months. And use your hands to quantify and qualify. See, if you don't know if the person that you have, and that's something the micro neurolinguistic did really good, is about visual and audit and kinetic words. So if a person starts using visual words, like I see you later, or I see what you're saying, that is a person who needs to see. So try to have that customer as soon as you can in a Skype. Send that customer a visual presentation. If you're selling cars, put that person on the car. Now, if the person is, I want to hear what you're saying, now you know really fast that person is audit. So you need to be consistent. That person is going to keep listening to you, is not going to interrupt.
Yes.
So check what is the approach the customer asks. And the best advice then I have after choose your customer is make questions. A 40-year-old make 409 questions a day. As an adult, we lose so many things. One of them is to learn to make questions. And
oh my goodness. Wait, I'm going to stop you. A 4-year-old asks how many questions a day?
409 questions a day. I don't have kids, but I take care of my friends' kids. I take them until 3 years old. After 3 years old, like, it's all yours. Talk to the grandparents.
I love that because it's one of the challenges that I found is that many people have been conditioned out of asking questions because they're being told what they should do, ought to do, need to do, have to do. And that stunts my ability to think, right? I'm just doing what I'm told, so I'm not thinking. So when I'm not thinking, I'm not in that place of curiosity, which creates questions, right? So again, I love that you're saying, go back, right? And my mentor, Rod Harrison, always says, go watch kids. If you want to learn how to be a genius, go watch children.
I want to say 3 things before we wrap it up.
Right, and we're going to wrap. Yeah, we're coming to a close. Go ahead.
56% because it's happened. I'm an highly introverted and I'm a shy and awkward person, and I'm not saying as I want to be sophisticated. It's because a lot of people use that against me when I started. So I always say it. I say that I'm dyslexic and my grammar is not perfect. So put out there things that you want people to know about you so people don't use those things against you. 56% of the population is introverted. So being an extrovert doesn't mean that you're going to be a better salesperson. A person who's an ambivert, who knows how to navigate both, make 25% more money than the other ones. And third of all, we still have people who doesn't negotiate their salaries and their commissions. Women negotiate only 7% of their salaries and their commission when 57% negotiated. Women, let's go to the power. We need to be more strong. We need to be a little more aggressive. There's nothing wrong with that. And by the way, I have a news for men. A study done by Rosenthal in Harvard showed that women are better reading clients and situations than men. Sorry.
I know this is right. Again, thank you for sharing that. And that last point drives home why I do what I do with Women in Sales and Influence, because we are in that era where the marketplace is flooded. So the razzle dazzle of your features and benefits of a product is not moving the needle. Engaging the client is the evolution of where the sales profession is going. And yes, thank you. I'm going to get that study information and post it because yes, that is what women are amazing at. We're amazing at reading and listening and wanting to add value, right? And wanting to do the little extras.
We have paper to prove it. It's not that we say it. I have Harvard to prove it. So no more like, oh, it's not true. Like, well, if Harvard say it, there's nothing else to be asking for. Hello.
Exactly. Well, Oh my God, thank you so much for sharing all of this amazingness. I'm so glad that we've gotten the opportunity to work together, and there's so much more you and I are going to do together to help women with sales. So I'm looking forward to that as well and announcing those things. And so we're going to wrap it up. Is there one tip that you want to tell people? You gave them a couple of things, but one succinct thing that you want them to remember when they walk away from here about micro expression and human behavior when it comes to sales?
Only one. Sometimes you need to learn to let it go. I know you're going to talk about first
Mm.
impressions, so I don't want to spoil it. But if you have a customer and you don't engage with the customer, talk to a coworker and divide the commission and make an agreement. I'm going to take another difficult customer from you. Sometimes salespeople are the bulldogs who doesn't know where to let it go. If you don't click with a customer, send them to somebody else. I have people, then I have customers, then I cannot work. So I send them to another people who does behavioral. Why? Because that can kill you. Take years to make a name. Take one person trashing you to kill you. So be aware when to let it go.
Oh, that is absolutely beautiful. Let it go, right? And that's what my father used to tell me, little money better than no money. So which is another version of what you said, right? It's always better to have a piece of that than have zero of it. And again, you're right. People who are dissatisfied, they talk a lot louder than the ones that are satisfied. Again,
Yes,
so
ma'am.
and how are we getting in touch with you? How are they connecting with you, my dear?
Well, you can find me in the Facebook page. I do as much damage as I can. Not lately, because I don't know what I was thinking when I compromised and I can deliver a book for September. Like, anyway, so I'm going to be posting again more often. They can follow. We're giving advice to people in sales all the time. You can find me in LinkedIn, Susan Ibitz, or you can find us in humanbehaviorlab.com. But everything that we're going to be posting is going to be in Facebook. So actually, I think it's going to be posted in your first Facebook first than mine. So
Yes.
your website, your Facebook is going to be first on call. So why to waste time? Go for you.
Well, thank you so much for today's interview. Susan, you've been absolutely amazing. And for everybody watching, I will post the links in there. So it's Susan Ibitz, it's IBITZ, or thehumanbehaviorlab.com. And I'll put those links in the recording. So if you're watching this on a recording or live, give me a couple of seconds, a couple of minutes, and I'll get that up. And I want to say thank you for another amazing woman. And this has been the Women of Sales and Influence, sponsored by the National Association of Sales Professionals. If you do not have a membership with the National Association of Sales Professionals, I would highly recommend it as a sales professional. Go over to www.nasp.com/join, and for a period of time, we're offering complimentary sales coaching calls for all new members. So that's 30 minutes that you can get with one of the sales advisors, myself or another one of the NASP sales advisors, to help you move the needle on some sales, to help give you some clarity on where you might be stuck in making a good decision, right? I always tell people, successful people don't make it up. They go look for people to give them guidance. So again, I look forward to you joining us at the National Association of Sales Professionals, connecting with Susan Ibitz, and getting your micro expressions in order so that you can rock it out and be amazing. And I will see you guys next week. Thank you for tuning in. Susan, stay where you are while I log off.